Yesterday, my wife noticed and pointed out to me that the main water line to our house is leaking right here. So I'm going to have to take this apart and get in here and get this fixed. This is where it's leaking from. It's we've got looks like copper piping right here going into PVC. Right here where it's screwed in is where the leak is at. So I'm going to have to dig all the way down to the bottom of this pipe, past the 90, cut the pipe off, unscrew it from here, and then put a new piece on. In order to do that, I'm going to have to shut off the main to the house, and then I'm going to shut it off at the water meter. So this is a 1-inch pipe. I've got a length of 1-inch PVC here. I've got a elbow for the bottom part. I've got my threaded piece that's going to go and replace that, screw into this. And I've got just a coupler, because I think if I cut the bottom past the 90, I'm going to need probably this to extend the pipe to get it to line up with the metal pipe here. So I may or may not use it, but I've got it either way. Well, my hole keeps filling up with water, obviously, a little faster than I had hoped it would. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the water off at the main, at the meter. Okay, so here's my meter. And then here, and this is rattlesnake territory. And they're supposed to be coming out, but I think it's still a little too cool. I'm not going to worry about it a whole lot at this point. All right, here we have it. There we go. That's off. All right, I still got water leaking out. I'm going to shut the water off to the house, make sure that's not coming through. And I'll open my hose here to get any water out that I can. All right. Looks like it's stopped for the most part, so I'll be able to dig in there without it filling up with water. Well, that's a lot deeper than I thought it would be. I'm down, actually I'm probably only down a little over a foot, but I still haven't reached the 90 at the bottom. And I'm thinking that when I do finally get there, to be able to dig all the way around it enough to get a nice clean joint when I use the pipe glue, it's going to be difficult, and I don't want to have a leak down there. So I think I'm going to switch to plan B. I do have a repair adapter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to unscrew this piece, and then I am going to use the new piece for in there, attach a piece of pipe to it, and we'll see how far I need to cut it down. But basically I'm going to cut the pipe and insert just a new piece in the top and connect it with this repair connector that I have. So this is the repair piece that I have. Basically it's got a rubber seal on each inside. You put your pipe in and then just snug it up, and the rubber seal seals around the pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this first, and we'll get the water turned back on and see if it doesn't leak. I'll keep it. If it's got problems, I'll try to work with it, and you know, worst case I'll give up and I'll go back to my original plan. Okay, so for the next step, I'm going to connect this piece here to some PVC pipe. This is going to be the main pipe that feeds water to the house. I have got my primer and my glue. I'm going to put the primer on, and then I'm going to put the glue on. Put the two pieces together, give them a little twist, and let them sit. I'm supposed to hold them for about 30 seconds, so I'll take care of that. Alright, so we'll start with the primer. Get that inside of this guy. And on the outside of this piece. And the glue. Make sure we got enough on here so this thing stays sealed. Put them together, give them a quarter turn twist, and hold it for about 30 seconds. I got some runoff here, but I'm not worried about it. All right, so it's been 30 seconds. That's gonna hold. So next step is I'm gonna see how far down this pipe I need to cut so it matches up the existing pipe, and I'll cut the existing pipe off. Okay, the point that I'm trying to achieve here is that I want the top of this close to this, and I want the pipe to come down to about the middle. That'll give me the most clearance and give me the easiest way to cut the pipe that's existing, that's in the ground. So to give us the most clearance, we're going to cut this pipe right here. And I only want to do this once, so I don't want it too short, I don't want it too long, and I want it straight. So I'll do my best to cut this straight. Right, that's that. All right, so we've got our piece cut here. It's not 100% 90, but it's pretty close. It'll be good enough for what we want. We want to get rid of these little pieces hanging out here. Clean it up a little bit. got to be smooth enough to fit in our repair piece. Should be good. Make sure it's clear on the inside. All right, I gotta figure out where to cut this PVC pipe at. I'll go ahead and clean it off here so I can mark it with a Sharpie. And I want it to, as much as possible, butt up to the bottom of this piece. So this is going to screw into about right there. And I think we should be able to get away with cutting it right here. My Sharpie still doesn't want to work very well, but I can see the marks there. There we go. All right, so we're going to do our best to cut it off right there. Then we'll get this piece screwed in and get it connected back together. All right, for the next step, I'm gonna put this piece on the lower part, slide it down as far as I can, and get ready for the new upper piece. I'll take that off. This has a rubber gasket in there and this piece that screws on. So, actually, I'm gonna try to slide it down there all in one piece. And if that doesn't work, I will take it apart and try it. But that's got to be straight, that rubber piece. Looks about right. All right. Here's that. So for the threads on this piece, to keep it from leaking, I have this pipe thread stick, and I've used it before. Up until I found this, I was always told to use the plumber's tape, and I found that that actually doesn't work very well. Someone at a hardware store recently told me that the plumber's tape isn't designed to seal, it's only designed to lubricate, and that the pipe, when it comes together, is supposed to do the job of sealing itself. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the first time I heard it, and it kind of makes sense, because sometimes I do okay with the plumber's tape, and sometimes I cannot get the two pieces to stop leaking. So I've used this once before, and because the plumber's tape didn't work, and this stuff actually sealed all my connections without a problem. So I think this is going to be my new go-to, especially for things like this where I don't want to have to come back and do it again. For other things like shower heads, stuff like that, where if it leaks, it's leaking into the tub, I'll use plumber's tape. It's not a big deal, and I don't want I don't want it to glue itself on for something like that. I want to be able to replace it easy. Now this stuff I don't think is designed to be a glue, but I have not experienced taking it apart after it's been on for a while. So for things that aren't major, I'll use plumber's tape. For things that are major, I'll use this stuff. All right, so we'll get this screwed up in where it belongs. It's going to be a slight, not really, but I just got to move this other piece out of the way. Make sure this goes up in straight, which is kind of a challenge because I can't see what I'm doing. An awful lot of dirt coming out of here for some reason. There shouldn't be any dirt in my supply line to my house. Cannot get this to go in straight yet. It feels like it's, there we go, that's straight. Tighten it as much as I can by hand, and we'll use what I have handy, which is channel locks. Yeah, that's good. All right. Avoid tearing up this piece if I can. I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it'll be fine integrity wise, but one thing, I don't want it looking all torn up, but I do want it nice and tight because I don't want to have to do this job again if I can help it. The good thing about using this screw-on coupler piece is that if I do have problems, say if it leaks from here like it was initially, I can always undo the coupler and do whatever I need, tighten this or whatever I need to. If I used the glue, I would have to be cutting that pipe again. So I'm glad I don't have to do that if I do have problems. All right, so now I'm going to take this piece. Oops, wrong piece. Let's do it right. I'm going to take this piece and put that on. And then this rubber piece, slip that up there if I can. There we go. And then we'll slide this up as high as I can. There we go. Nice and high. The two cut ends of the pipes should be, they're pretty close to each other, so we've got a lot of space for these two couplers to compress the rubber seal inside and get that to where it won't pop apart when we apply pressure to it from turning the water on. So I'm going to tighten these by hand as much as I can. Don't think I'll need a tool for them. And then before I fill this up with dirt, I'm going to obviously turn the water on to make sure we're not leaking anywhere. Alright, well, it's about as tight as that's going to get. I'm going to go turn the water on at the main and see what happens. Alright, water's back on. I don't see, oh, do I? Actually, let me take a paper towel and dry that off. I'm not sure how dry this was before I turned the water on. That could be water that came out of the pipe when I put it together. Yeah, I don't see any water leaking out. Now, that could be because I have the water turned off to the house. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on a little bit. Let some water get in there. I know I have a faucet on inside the house, so some water will be coming out of there. I don't want a whole bunch to come out, but I do want to make sure that we've got water flowing through here and it not leaking. All right. Well, that looks good. No leak here. That's where the problem was. and I don't see any water coming out of this piece at all. So I think we're good to fill in the hole. Okay, I've got the water fully turned back on, and I do see there is a slight leak coming out of this bottom coupler. Yeah, the top is fine. Top is fine here. Don't feel anything around the pipe, but out of the bottom here I can see got a slight leak, so I'm going to try to tighten that up. Alright, so I'm going to try to tighten it by hand some more. Oh, that's as tight as that's going to go, so I got to use my channel locks here and see if I can get a decent grip on this. Kind of tough in this position. Little bit did anything for us. That seems to have done it. Yeah, that little bit did it for us. So we're good. Yeah, it's like it's not leaking at all. I always worry about I would consider this kind of a temporary fix, but I'm using it in a permanent location, and I don't like that. I would rather have found a way to use the glue, made it permanent, but as long as it's sealed and it lasts, we'll be fine. So I'll be keeping a lookout at this and just check it over the days and just make sure that it's not getting water accumulated in here. All right, looks like we got no leak. All that water is runoff from groundwater apparently. Water is turned on. Water to the house is turned on. I'll turn my sprinklers on for when I'm ready to get those going. So I'm going to fill the hole in. I wasn't too excited about all the rocks that I had to dig out of there. So I'm going to try to find more of a dirt to put in there in case I have to get back in here again. I think that should be fine. I don't see a problem with it. We're encased by concrete over here, so just throwing some dirt down there and calling it good should be fine. I know typically, depending on the application, pipes are usually on and encased in gravel. But for this location right here, I don't think that's a problem. And if I ever need to put gravel, I can. So I'm going to find some dirt and fill this hole in. Part of this project is going to be getting this cleaned up too, get some rocks thrown in there. So we'll get started on that. So here it is all put back together. I've got dirt, weed tarp, and I got rocks on top. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but I'll get to that on landscaping day. Not today, it's getting late. So there's multiple ways to do everything. The way I fixed this wasn't my ideal choice. I would have liked to, if I could have got down low enough and cut the pipe and used the PVC glue, I would have preferred that. But for the situation that I had, I think this is the best fix. Seems to be leak-free and functioning correctly, so I'm happy with it. I will check on it though. Once it dries out, because it's been rainy, then I will take some of these rocks up and check the soil, make sure it's not damp. If it is damp, I'm going to take it back apart and fix it again until it does not leak. But as for now, it's not leaking. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.